Hey there, Silvertongue Devil here, and in this live stream we are back on Hellsweeper. There was an update, the Obscura update, quite some time ago. I didn't get round to covering it. Part of the reason is because the Obscura update kind of broke the multiplayer, and if I can't play the multiplayer, then I'm not playing the game all that much, and so the update, I just didn't get round to covering it. I've also been pretty busy with various other things as well. So what have we missed out on whilst Hellsweepers have been a-cooking? So the Obscura update, patch 2.0, marks Hellsweeper's 2nd anniversary. Endless mode finally added to cooperative. This is huge because this allows me to power level people. And power leveling in this game, the leveling isn't so much a grind, but in this game, leveling up, getting everything unlocked, it's just fun because you have everything to play with, and there's so many things that go together. Now, I won't go through the fixes, but I will go through quickly the system changes. We now have a new resource. This is actually great, but I think they've overlooked something. So, we now have, on the outside, where you see that little black bar, would be where my shields are going to be going, because we use shields a lot on this channel. It's my crutch. The red is health, the blue is mana, and now this turquoisey bar underneath is energy. Energy is used for bullet time and movement abilities. So now, if you are a caster, you can still move. So if you absolutely massacre your mana, you are still mobile. You still have another bar for slow time and such. What I think they have overlooked is energy is now a new resource, like health and mana and... what was the other? Oh, and damage. So you can pick up damage upgrades, you can pick up mana upgrades, you can pick up health upgrades, but there is no upgrade for energy. Some of the classes give you more energy, but that's not enough. So this energy resource really helps mages because, as I said, you're not having to rely on your mana for movement. The other thing that they have, we will look at inverse gravity. That's something in the options. If you or a strange person that likes playing the game constantly upside down, inverse gravity is an option that you can change. This basically allows us to go upside down and stay upside down, and then the ceiling becomes the floor and the floor becomes the ceiling. Very cool ability. Unfortunate that you can only do it in the options. You can either do the flips. Oh, that's a lot slower than I'm used to it being. I could do the flips, or you can do the inverse. We'll have, if somebody reminds me, I'll show off the inverse gravity later on. The other thing to note as well, we now have an ammo pool system. So this now means, again, a boon to you if you use guns. One of the little known things, I think, is that firing your gun and manually reloading it uses mana. And it can use quite a lot of mana, especially if you've dumped a lot of things on your gun as far as upgrades and enhancements and so on. Now what we have is we have a bullet count. The way it works is you fire your shots and you can reload for free without using your mana based on the amount of bullets that it says you have left. Mine will keep topping up to 55. So basically, you will have a pool of ammunition to use before you start eating into your mana. Now, for us libertarians, we reload with our shoulder. That doesn't cost any mana, and it powers up our weapon. Again, we'll talk about that later as well. Bow changes, gun changes, endless mode. Toxic magic is the new one. It combines with everything. Fire, frost, fire, ice, and vault, as well as blood. And there are some new blessings within the game as well. Lemon ink is, for what I'm going to be doing, is kind of essential. Reveals the hidden level objectives. This allows you to plan much better where you're going and what you're doing in the single player. I'll think of the rest. I'll think of the rest when we get there. So let's start a nice, easy extreme campaign. We'll put the... Yeah, might as well put the full boost on. I'm not going to bother putting it in endless mode. I'm going to try not to go upside down as much. Is extreme enough? Basically, the reason why I'm playing it on extreme and not the harder modes is the harder modes reduce the amount of time you spend when you do flips. So if I want to show the upside down off, it's quite difficult on the higher difficulties. Basically, higher difficulties, flipping isn't quite as useful, although it does get you a lot of style points. Let's start a new one off on extreme. Let me just see what epithet we have on. I've just finished Gunslinger. Let's go OP. Let's go. Oh, I'll get you there, Shanty. Don't worry about that. Let's just go all-rounder for now. So, but yeah, this is the new bar of the game. Well, I mean, bullet ammo is as well. But this is the new bar of the game. At least bullet ammo you can do something with. You can increase this. Energy, there's few and far ways between to actually increase it. And a lot of the epithets don't actually have a boost. Like, of all the things that should boost energy, it should be Acrobat. At top level, you would get 10 extra energy. Come on. Come on. Right, let's get in there. Yeah, I can help everyone with the grind. Now that we have endless mode in multiplayer, that's what we're going to be doing a lot of. So, for those of you who tuned in and don't know what the fuck this game is, and rightly so, because this is, in my opinion, one of the best kept secrets in VR. This game is all sorts and everything and then some. So this is a roguelike, in essence, an arena, well, shoot a magic melee game, but it wraps the arena thing and keeps everything flowing so well that you don't realize you're literally just going from arena to arena to arena. And to call some of the levels just arenas is doing them a bit of a disservice. So what we're going to start out with here is we get to, because I've used my souls, I get some nice little crutches to use, and then we also get a blessing. I've already got some blessings. We're just going to add some more. So Play Dice is now able to do what it's supposed to do. Allows a reroll of a trait or blessing per level. Previously, it used to work like per chapter, not per node. So rerolls are great in any kind of roguelike game because you can start making the build that you want with a chance of being able to reroll for it. Now, so, we will have a variety of objectives to complete within the 18-odd levels that were within the game. The levels will be given to us randomly. The objectives, we kind of get to choose depending on the rewards that we take at the end of the game. What is this game? Ultimately, this is a one fuck-off massive power fantasy. We'll start with guns, but tonight we're going to be doing a lot of looking at poison. Now, poison is the new kid on the block. I'll kill some demons and you guys can watch. Now, we need to generate a lot of money and we need to also generate a lot of style. I'll try and keep the upside down to a minimum tonight, but we do need to generate style to try and make sure that we get a decent roll of cash going, because one of the traits that I use is the ability to use our gold, in essence, or money earned rather, as like a shield. I should use some magic, really, shouldn't I? Hello, evil hosts, where have you been? Ooh. So, not only does this game have loads and loads of guns, It also has loads and loads of melee, which I don't lean into, if I'm honest. And it also has loads and loads of magic. The way that magic works in this game is, or anything works in this game, is it's all gesture-based. Oh, God. It's all gesture-based. So, for instance, I have lightning on gesture up. I have ice, poison on gesture in. Ice on gesture out. And blood on gesture down. Blood is kind of the ultimate be-all and end-all magic. These evil hosts in their various magical combined guises will just go off and do my bidding. I'm like a necromancer with my summons, but amazing summons that the enemy cannot do anything about. And that's the latest one. That's the poison element. So before we start showing off poison, I want to try and kind of build it up a little bit in regards of getting it some level ups. When we've completed a level, so the objective there was to stay alive for a minute and a half. We want to be getting as much style as possible. That's why we get all of this coin. That coin raises my shields. That's using the Blessing Gilded Boots, which I would highly recommend to anybody who plays this game. You get Gilded Boots, get a handful of kills, get a bit of gold. You're almost invincible at most levels. We are going to see about pushing into all of the poison magic upgrades and poison combination upgrades tonight, and also totems, actually quite a good objective. Something to note for those that don't play this game or are new to playing the game, Budget Ryan Reynolds is new to playing the game. Checking these, don't just take what you think you want, because each of them tells you what your next objective is, and some of those objectives could be nasty or nice for you. And later on, not only will it tell you the objectives, it'll also tell you the modifiers that are on those objectives as well. I'm happy to do totem. There are particular modifiers in this game that can literally go and suck a dick. I'm talking to you, the floor is lava. Anyway, so we'll take primordial magic. Ideally, I want to do everything that is not raising its mana costs. Note how Hex Payback raises mana cost. Mana Conduit does not. Power Overwhelming does not. Spiteful Hit does. So we'll take Mana Conduit. And hopefully we have some keys. So here's the main thing with this game. It's all about these chests, and it's all about the little incremental upgrades that you can get to the things that you pick at the start of the game, and just becoming silly levels of power. I've got you in my ears at all times, Stred, don't worry. So putting the keys into here, depending on the kinds of keys, will reward you with different rewards. You'll see that because all of them were silver, and this is a particularly big chest, we have +2 to our mastery, which adds basically 2 levels to my unholy ability. Oh, I can hear you. Don't worry, I can hear you. I didn't think there was any questions asked, but I may have been on a tirade. We always want to increase our mana, so that's a free take. I am going to ignore taking swords for now, because we're going to concentrate on magic. One of the things that I do quite a lot during my runs, and I don't know if you guys do or not, if you need souls, taking things that you, or various resources in the game, taking things that you do not need is actually a good idea, but you then want to be going for the experiences gold trait. I'll demonstrate. So you'd want to do that, skip, and then when as you're leveling up that sword, go for the experiences gold. What I do with the way that I play it is, if it's not on my agenda of things that I want to upgrade, I don't pick it up. And the reason being is, then you're more likely to see the upgrades that you actually fucking want and will be using. So, and that all adds up. Let me just go and have a quick look at this chest. I've got some tricks to show with the keys as well, but at the moment we've only got silvers. We need more, so we have an upgrade to fire magic. This is good. because oh no, we don't have match fire magic, but I will be able to put that on later. And we don't need that, but I'll just jump it on anyway quickly. If in doubt, go for 5-finger discount on all magic. Making the mana consumption a lower cost is always good in this game. Right, that's all the chests done. When you have unholy magic and a trait called paid violence, smash corpses for gold. I mean, you have to have the levitate ability as well, but again, you get all of these things unlocked as you go through the game. But yes, smash all corpses for more money. It's such a good game. It really is. It's a crying shame that this one has kind of not succeeded. But again, as I've said before, and I'll say again, let Hellsweeper be a warning to developers that rush their games out. This is a very, very competent, huge, excellent value for money proposition with multiplayer as well. Nobody plays it. Why? I think it's because it failed in its launch. It failed the PC and the PlayStation VR crowd, or PlayStation VR 2 crowd, because they didn't have everything up to snuff, so it looked like people were going into pea soup when they played the game. And they should have better graphics, those people. And then, if our memory serves as well, the multiplayer was just all over the place when this launched. Now, this objective, 5 totems remaining. We can see the totem objectives there. We'll show off a bit of poison whilst I've got some time. But we can see the totem objectives there. This is a opportunity for us to make a lot of money, because as long as we leave at least one of these totems alive and are really far away from it so that it doesn't get destroyed by any of the crap that we're throwing out, enemies will spawn infinitely. You can then kill those enemies over and over again to generate more and more and more money. Now, that's good if you are struggling with your run. More money, less problems. If you are power leveling, which we'll probably have a look at in the multiplayer later on, you want to be finishing these as quickly as possible and not worrying about your style. So, and I like this. There's a way to play the game to a point, and then you switch to another way and means. So, what are we here for? We are here for poison. So, poison is the latest element that comes to the game. Chucking it out throws like a whip, and it will try and attack enemies as it is flying, and then it creates one of these little green things. And what they do when enemies get close is they'll launch other little green splodges, which will then go around and poison the enemy, which I believe weakens them and also does damage over time. Now, if we, at the moment, I've got it set up so it doesn't have the whip ability, it does that, because it's just nasty. It doesn't drain your mana quite as badly as the flamethrower does within the game, but I figured that one would be a nice one to show off. The other ability that you can get through thrusting forward and trigger is like a poison whip. We will change around to back to that later on. So, poison, and then if you had another poison ball and combined them, allows you to float around quite quickly and put this sort of like snake line behind you, which then if enemies get hit by, they get poisoned. And also you're doing kind of like area damage as you're traveling about as well. But wait! That's not all. So we've also got the ability to infuse our hand with poison, which then means that when we cast weaponry, it gets the traits. Now, there is one big thing with poison. Can we see what it is, chat? Look at that red health bar. Why is that going down? Because I am holding a poison weapon. So poison is a great magic, but not a great infusion. So we know that we can use poison and can combine poison with itself. We can combine poison with all the other magic stereotypes for even more effects. But first, what does it do when it's infused? So poison in combination with lightning when infused fires off those little things. To infuse, have a magic ball in your hand and press the thumbstick in. That's the simplest way to infuse. So the lightning has that. I can't remember exactly what they do, but we'll use some of these whilst we're in play. The ice does perfume magic, which we'll have a play around with later, I guess. Blood magic when infused with poison. Produces balls wherever you point it, and then they explode. And then fire we'll have a look at later. So we have poison combined with fire is molten. Poison combined with ice is perfume. Poison combined with lightning is primal or primordial. And then I don't think poison combined with blood has a name, but it just is a thing. So let's try and use some poison. You'll see as well that just having poison in my hands gives me the equivalent of whips. This doesn't actually cost any mana. So in the grand scheme of things... Oops. Oh yeah, better show that off as well. We've also got poison's ultimate when combined, which does like a whole host of spikes and then poisons the enemy. Let's see what some of these do. So they're homing, and then they come back and heal me. Nice. Don't know exactly what that's giving me back, but I would imagine it's health. Poison infused with ice is our perfume magic, which then... guys, can you go up there? I missed. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Why is it going high? Or is it... Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Spot who doesn't use poison magic a lot. Ah! It's a lure! Look! Go get the perfume! Not me, fools, the perfume! So, poison magic in that circumstance is used as a lure. And then poison combined with blood magic that is very mana intensive. Produces these little poison globes wherever we point it, I think. Yeah, so wherever we're pointing is where they're produced. Right, let's and then the other thing that you can do with poison, as you're seeing here, is you can kind of use it like I would do with blood magic, where you drop the blood magic on the floor and it produces... Ow! Produces all of these blood ghosts, which then go off and home against the enemy. Poison can be very much used the same in that you can carpet an area with these little growths, and they are quite damaging. So I would go as far as to say that on its own, as a magic... God, I need some of that perfume now. As a magic in its own right, is probably one of the strongest. Probably stronger than blood. But then, when you have blood as an actual magic that you can cast, like I have, this is always going to be very powerful. So let's try now some of the poison combinations. So we've seen what poison does with an infused hand. Let's see what it does with lightning. And look, we get a whirligig. And I can just float around like a boat, whipping the shit out of everything. Quite slowly, it must be said. I don't think this grants you any kind of shields. And then we can also fire off our ultimate, which then does that. Now, I'm not usually a massive fan. He's having a great time. Look at that. I'm usually not a fan of leaving these abilities to go, because they are usually very mana intensive. I usually combined and quick cast straight away. And the reason being is just because of mana cost. I wish they'd stop throwing up on me. That'd be great. So, what else we got? Poison and ice. So this is our perfume magic. Now, this allows us to... That's right, we can fly now. And it's zapping away as we fire. As we fly, rather. These aren't as mana intensive as I thought, or maybe I've got a decent setup. And then the blast, you can hold the triggers down. That is mana intensive. That is probably one of the best combinations going. Let's get all of our mana back and just blast everybody. God, it's like fucking Dragon Ball Z, but with blossoms. Perfect. Alright, let's finish up this level first. Again, I'll try and keep the upside down to a minimum, because I know there's some that get sick just watching me play this game. We don't need to go upside down a lot of the time, but do know... Come back, you fucking... Thank you. Oh, for fuck's sake. You like your knives, didn't you? There are... Do pull those out of your hands if you get knifed as well. They actually have They lower your maximum HP. So if you get knifed a lot, you can get killed quite easily. So we've also got the infusions of the various weapons with the various magics. Let's get these destroyed quickly. So I think we've done enough work. Talk about what I'm talking about as far as that's concerned in just a minute. We want to be destroying these corpses before they disappear. It's all bonus cash. Although that one doesn't seem to be working on this level. This is how you normally make blood magic. You normally have to find one of these demon hearts, I guess, hold trigger, and then that creates a blood orb. But when your magic is good enough, when you have blood magic up high enough and equip the aptly named Devil's Trigger, you can then cast blood orbs like you can a normal spell. Just to give you an idea of how good blood magic is. That's just its normal spell orb. And that will just go out and, and destroy the level. So, but we'll, it's not about blood today. Every stream that I do is all about blood, but it's not about blood today. Poison today, it's about poison. Must remember that it's about poison. Style kill bonus wise, you want to be getting this in the, I think 60k is the now maximum. It has gone up. You want to be getting a certain amount of style per level. There is a cap where when you've got enough style, you don't get any more gold and souls and echoes. However, look here, mastery 1+1. There is a level of style where these will become +2. There is not a level of style past that. So there are two benchmarks now to style. There is maxing out the rewards that you get, and then there is another benchmark that gives you more mastery on the skills that you pick for that. I believe we'll do some testing tonight because I'll be able to keep my style under control tonight. That's right. Part of the problem that I have is I'm just too stylish in this game sometimes. My style ends up by accident in the fucking millions because of the magic types that I use. Let us... We haven't been offered anything poison-wise. We'll do some more totem, I guess. Yeah. I always like to make the mag sizes on my revolvers ridiculously massive. I know K2 appreciates a 27 shooter, so we can but hope to get there. There is a distinct lack of golden keys going on here, so we'll just use silvers. So the way this chest system has changed a little bit. The more locks there are, thanks Atham, that's Von's job. The more locks there are on a chest, the greater the rewards, in combination with the better keys used, or if you use better keys with more locks, you get a better reward. Right now, a silver in each of these will give us things that will give us +2 to our mastery. Oh, hello. So, as you can see there, mastery we're already on 2. This will add another 2. This is, as I said, blood magic that I've upgraded now. Again, a lot of the time with a lot of these magics, you want to go for 5-finger discount. It reduces mana cost, and quite importantly, it doesn't cost you as much mana. I've seen lots of people complain on this game when they're making their builds that, oh, I cast my gun and then I can't cast anything else. It's like, yeah, it's because you made it too expensive. You haven't put enough 5-finger discounts on, and you're trying to cast something that is well above where you are. You have to start your weaponry quite humble and do its big upgrades during the game. Clutch Souls, don't need them anymore. I've done all of that. A Token of Betrayal. This is actually quite a rare find, but I believe it can show up as an extra reward in any chest. This allows us to battle against another Hellsweeper. Well, it says against our reflection, but he doesn't look anything like me. He hasn't got that classic profile and that square jaw. I think we're out of everything there. Just because I can't remember if we covered it last time I was playing or not. You can now interact with the environments as well. This has had a... I looked at this on paper and I was like, what? You can trigger, you can make the water ice, or you can electrify it, or you can fire lightning or fire at these holes and make the flames. And it's kind of like... it's a bit lame because it's not going to do anything. But you know what's really good about it? What I've always... It's the only criticism that I have for Hellsweeper, is that some of the environments just look a little bit jaggy and a little bit bland. And then what I found is that these ice effects, when they load up, these ice effects and these flamethrowers going off in the background and some of the other now new environmental things really add to the kind of graphic palette of the game. Oh, now they're doing it. See all the money just tumbling out of that? That's because of a trait called paid violence. Or paid for violence, paid in violence. I think it's just paid violence. But basically when you destroy and dismember, and you can dismember things just by smashing them into walls, you get money for it. Which, you know, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? So, icing a river has the effect of you actually sliding on it as well, which can get quite annoying, but also the enemies will slide and slipper over on it as well. You can also imbue a lake with lightning that will then electrify the enemies in place, and then also lightning and fireballs, as demonstrated, hurled I'll edit that out. Hurled at things will then create those. Is that going to do a lot of damage? Because I don't fight next to walls. Is it going to do a lot of damage to enemies? No. But as you're just flinging spells and all of these effects are going off in the background, it just makes everything look great. Makes everything look great. Now, let's get out of here. No, it's not called paid for stone. It's called paid for violence, Shanty. No, you got to smash him. Right, so, because we... might actually die to this guy. This guy's pretty tough. Although... Hang on a sec. Bear with. Let's just make sure we don't. And then this also gives me the opportunity to show off because I've got a lovely arena for it now. So fire is what I normally have on my inside hand. We didn't see what fire looks like when it's imbued with poison. we fire explosive rocks, it would appear. Hang on, why is that being consumed? That shouldn't be being consumed. I haven't put mana engine on Fireball. All the other things that I've got, you'll see that I can cast them over and over again. That's part of the brilliance of mana engine. So that's not why I use mana engine. We'll come on to that later. But let's go poison combined with fire. And then we have this cool molten effect. And it's another snake trail game, people. And then if we stop that, we can actually jump on that rock as well. It doesn't stick around very long. And we can also fire meteorites as well. So, most of these big abilities I haven't really extensively tested because I like blood magic. And the game would have to do a lot. Thanks, Vaughn. The game would have to do a lot to lure me away from the allure of blood magic. So, I suppose the last thing that we haven't tried would be poison with blood, although I did show it off. So, the evil host is then a poison ball, so you can see that green... You see that green tinge within the middle of it. That'll just go around like a normal evil host would do, but with less whippy. These get straight in there and start poisoning enemies, and I think poison not only has the effect of damage over time, but I also think it weakens the amount of damage that enemies do. Anyway, part of the reason why I put Fireball on is I'd like to continue this run, and we're not very powerful at the moment, so nice little tip. See these? Borrowed these from Iron Man. These unibeams will make absolute fucking mincemeat of bosses. Usually, although mine aren't all that powerful. There you go. Oh, he is the same as me. Look, he's got my mask on and everything. And yes, I'm the same. There's a lot of cool masks in this game. The default one is easily the best. Some of them are a bit crap, if I'm honest. So, they did add some texture to the gold one that I unlocked, and it looks a little better, but I'm sure they can do better than where they are. So why did we come here to fight that dude? Well, we get an extra blessing out of it. Blessings are definitely something that can really empower your build overall. And we also get the Sweeper's Broom. Because what Hellsweeper would be complete without a Sweeper's Broom, right? Right. These are both alright. Gain 20 shields, increase health by 100%, but reduce damage by 30%. This is very good if you are playing the game and you're going through the leveling up process and you're just trying to complete runs. Not great for me, but I will take it to show you why it's that good. We also, this is where this reroll thing really comes into its own. We get a reroll per thing. So I could reroll these, and getting multiple of those allows you to start picking the skills that you want. But we will go for Iron Fortress. What Iron Fortress does is not only does it give you shields, and shields, as you can see, the yellow line here, shields will basically make you invincible if you use them in combination with the trait Gilded Boots. As we are making money and not spending it, we are increasing the amount of shields that we have. If you have if you have about 100 odd shields, you're nigh on invincible at these lower levels of difficulty. You need to get into the 300 to 400 shields to be nigh on invincible at Hellsweeper level of difficulty. And anything past that, you can just base tank everything. It's such a good skill. What it stops you doing is freely spending your money in the shops. But there's kind of ways around that. Also, the reason why we took the Fortress upgrade is increased health, more survivability. increased shields. If you didn't have gilded boots, more survivability, or those extra shields, more survivability, not tied to the cash made. The damage reduction is actually a boon for the player who hasn't played this game much, because multiple hits on enemies is one of the ways that you get massive amounts of style. Think your Devil May Cry. If your weapons are weaker, it's going to take a lot more hits to kill an enemy. A lot more hits gives you a bigger multiplier, and then when it all comes together and you actually get kills at the end of that multiplier, you get huge style bonuses. So reducing your damage actively, or at the very least not increasing your damage, is a good thing in Hellsweeper when you are playing at this kind of level. Right, wave 1 of 3, 10 enemies left, so we'll have 10, then 15. Ooh, quick drink. Don't mind if I do. 10 enemies, 15 enemies, 20 enemies. So as soon as we move from this spot, they will start attacking. Now, again, a lot of this advice is actually for Shanty, but one of the things that I would highly recommend whenever you start a level, if you have ranged weaponry, take out every blue totem that you can see if you start in an area where there's no boundaries, or if you're in an area that does have a clear boundary, it's like a red misty sort of thing, get right to the edge of it and kill all of those blue totems. The reason being is because those blue totems have a chance of becoming red totems, and those red totems can fucking kill you quite easily, and they also take a lot more damage when they become red. Only blues can become reds. If you shoot them now, you don't have to deal with them later. Right, let's use some more poison. Wait, where did I put it again? Oh yeah, there. One of those. Everybody likes whips. I mean, that guy doesn't. Have one of those. Right, let's try this molten magic. Quite powerful. Now, I know they haven't died. One of those was probably on about half health. Ice enemies in this game are an absolute nightmare because they are the toughest enemies going. Ice are the tanks, or ice is the tank element of this game. Oops. Not liking these, not playing my acrobat class. I haven't got anywhere near as many jumps as I want. We'll fire off a bit of blood, and let's get one of those in there, and one of those. Let's try and concentrate on using poison in combination with other things. Now, one of the reasons why I'm able to move whilst ripping off these spells, and I'm casting ultimates without going into this, is because of the tech that I'll hopefully teach you as we play the game. I'm used to having pistols on my outside, but I want to get used to putting them on here, because then it means I've still got my pistols, and then all my magic is exactly where I need it to be. Perfect. Still got to pull those knives out as well. If you get really low on health, your maximum gets reduced, and then your shields get kaputted, you could die very quickly. If you don't have blood magic, I put blood magic on my down. So I'm literally, to summon blood magic orbs, I am pressing down and pressing grip. And then what I'm doing is this kind of patty cake motion, which then just unleashes blood ghosts. I'm casting the ball and dropping it straight away. Whilst you don't have blood magic, and if you have poison magic, in fact, let's actually do that and see just how effective it is. Let's change poison magic over with my blood magic, and then maybe I won't use blood magic quite as often, but we can get the same effect. It's not going to be as good as blood magic, but it's doing a pretty good fucking job. Oh, good. Oh, good. My battery didn't. That's all that messing around with MetaQuest Developer Hub. You know, when you've got your battery in and it just doesn't turn on? Yeah. But yeah, you won't have got blood yet. When you do get blood, it's nowhere near as good until you get the ability to cast it as an orb. But with poison magic, you can do a similar thing as to what I was doing with blood magic. And I believe you can get poison magic to be able to do that at a lot earlier level than you could with blood magic. Blood is a lot of grinding, but then again, the other great thing about this game is you get competent with one kind of magic, and then you use that to unlock everything else in the game. Or you get competent with one kind of melee, or one kind of firearm, or one combination of magic or firearms and melee and whatnot. And you can use that specialization to make everything that might be a little bit weak or you might not be quite as good for become a lot more powerful. And again, I like that in games. It's something that I think we've all played games where it's like, oh, for you to level up a thing, you need to use a thing. It's like, yeah, but the thing's shit until I get it to top level. Can't I use something else to level it up that's good, to at least get it to competency, so that then I can use it? And a lot of games are basically like, no, you can't. Use the shit thing until it gets good. In this, you can use the good things to make the shit things good. And that is good game design. The battery's not dead. The battery just didn't start. So I've got my battery clipped onto the back of my headset, and it's standard for the course, and I don't know why, but if you were to pull the cable out, or sometimes you connect the battery and it makes the beep but isn't actually charging, or charging at a lower rate. But because I took the cable out to then plug MetaQuest Developer Hub in whilst the game was running and did it a second time, I never think to go to my battery and press the button on the top of it, but it needs that little giddy up to actually get going. Now, this is important. This is something that I noted on the last stream, but this is quite a reasonably big change. So this is a 3-lock chest. That means that if we put 3 silvers in here, each one of the ones that has a silver on it will give us a +3 to our mastery. If it had a gold on it, it would give us a +4. So if we put 1 gold and 2 silvers in, whatever appeared here would be +4, this would be +3, this would be +3. If we put all golds in, each of them would be +4 to our mastery. We can cheat that system by going 1, 2, and then a silver. And providing all of these are actually things that have mastery, which they are, hello Chris, you will see that this is +4 mastery, this is +4 mastery, and this is +4 mastery. Now this only works with tier 3 chests, but basically you want to put 2 golds in, doesn't matter the order either, 2 golds, 1 silver, and you will get the equivalent in mastery rewards as you would for putting 3 golds in. Does that make a massive amount of difference? Well, it saves you a gold key. Every time that you were going to use 3, you're now only using 2, and it gives you something to use your silvers on. So yeah, it does make a fucking difference. Let's level up our perfume magic. We'll take discount. We'll take Hex Payback. This increases status effect duration. Obviously, as you can tell, perfume and poison are all about status effects. This is new to the game as well. When you get enough of the hexes, you get cracking defense, which it's just bigger effect duration, less mana cost overall, which is always good. And we're not going to be using haze magic, and I'll grab some blast as well, because I've got some things that I want to pick. I'll tell you if I'm picking anything of note. This is big for anybody who is leveling up and grinding this game. If you take experience as gold after completing the act, so after you've done all the little nodes, got to the end boss and completed it, you will get an additional 25 echoes. This is great if for weapons and things that you are not using. Do remember that mana cost goes up each time you put these on. So if you're putting them on things that you don't use, that's fine. If you're putting this on things that you are using, you could potentially be fucking up your mana abilities with it. So, and we're not really using blast though, but I don't need the souls. I'm just going to put whatever on. We don't need to worry about this. Isn't a how to do builds video. No. I think I tried 2 silvers and 1 gold, and it gave me +3 and then +4 and +3. I do believe it has to be 2 golds, 1 silver. No. Maybe. No. Yeah, let's upgrade our fire magic. Mana conduit, yes. Cool. Note how we didn't get a very good style score out of that one, obviously, because I only got to pick 1 mastery. If you get a decent style score, not only will you max out on the echoes, souls, and obbles, gold, but you'll also get +2 to your masteries as well. Let's have a quick look and see if there are any other chests. I mean, there are lots of bodies. I'll double check it. I'll try it again on the next chest that I find, because it doesn't really matter if I don't get a brilliant build going here. Oh, come on, with some ging. There we go. Hey. Pay me for violence, God damn it. I don't know why. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There is one way to guarantee that it pays you for violence and that you don't have to do the violence yourself, which is a trait unlocked within Unholy, which is a combination of traits that then you can forge into a better trait, as all good roguelikes have the ability to do. And that one is called Corpse Explosion. What then happens is bodies, once corpses are produced from your enemies, the bodies blow up. And so when they blow up, it counts as a dismemberment, which then gives you the gold, which then means that you don't have to do it. Actually helps the game run smoother as well. So again, whoop, and that's definitely a thing. Hello, Mark. How we doing? And hello, Corvo. Sorry, I was on a rant. Hello, Corvo. Sorry, Cammy. Hello, Cammy. Gonna have to change that. Right, so, and yes, this game can be very overwhelming. The one thing that I would say, pick what you like and fucking run with that is always the best thing. You can complete this game quite easily with just, I'm using the revolvers that you get at the very start of the game. Now, they are very upgraded and do a lot more than the starting ones, but you can get away with the starting revolvers and fire magic, and probably the starting sword as well, and complete the whole game with that. It's one of the many things that I do like. Again, note how I'm destroying as many of those blow totems as I can before I step out. It's one of the other things that I really like about this game. Yes, there are things that are just better than others. Like blood magic is so good in comparison to a lot of the other magics. But then having said that, you could quite easily, if you put the power-ups into it, complete the game with fire, with lightning, with poison now. Maybe even ice. Ice is on the weaker end of the spectrum, but it's more of a defensive magic than it is on an offensive magic. So, right, what are we doing? Enemies. Cool. Nope. Yes. Right, let's see if I can up this style a little bit. One of the easiest ways to do that, let's see what we get style-wise if we just use, like, a poison trail. And I suppose we could do a little bit of this whirligig shit as well. It's a shame that we move quite slowly with this, but I think the power is in its ability. Yeah, Blood's this game's easy mode. But then again, you know, to get blood magic to that point, you need to invest a lot of time in the game. The amount of time that you would like to think that you would then become absolutely unstoppable. Nah. Oh, he loves it. He loves it. This perfume effect has... Oh no, that's not perfume, that's primal. Some of the effects in this game have the ability... Yeah. Have some more poison. Some of the effects in this game have the ability to almost like put the enemies into rapture, which is quite cool. Things that are combined with poison, that is. Perfume magic seems to do that quite a lot. And this is actually quite a decent complement to blood magic, because you can sit inside this knowing that things get whipped and enjoy the whipping. Look, that's a face of enjoyment. And look, even now that the whipping has stopped, it's like, oh. So that's Poison and Lightning's ultimate, and you can then safely stay within this, and then if you were so inclined, be casting your blood magic evil hosts to go out and do your work while still being like kind of defended. But let's not get soup on the screen, and let's concentrate on Poison. And again, literally all I'm doing, casting the orbs onto the floor, and they'll stick there, and then when enemies get close enough, they'll launch their deadly payload. And it is quite powerful, to be fair, because this is quite a high level of difficulty. And I mean, I have got Poison maxed with the meta progression, but we haven't put a lot into Poison of its own accord right now. And I do like the fact that they get sludged. Dirty boy! Dirty boy! Proper Slimer. They love the pain and suffering. Exactly. They like a good whipping. Who doesn't? But this, I mean, that alone is quite cool. But you do, if you do it with both hands, you have a tendency to, like, combine them. Oh, the combos are silly in this game. I haven't even started with combining magic with weaponry yet. Guns and melee. So any magic that you have seen so far can be combined with any of the other weaponry in this game. So if you want to poison your gun, you simply put poison on it, and then you have a poison shooter, and then that has an upgraded ability when you reload it manually, which I'm doing with my shoulder. You're supposed to cast bullets and put them into it, but that's why I have the libertarian skill, so that I can go for these powered up reloads using my shoulder. And that's like just the beginning. You've seen how many magic types there are, and then each magic type has different properties depending on the status of the weapon, be it powered, be it normal on its side, or two-handed as well. Like, for instance, a fire-imbued... Come on. There we go. A fire-imbued gun normally does burn damage. Upgraded with upgraded ammunition does explosions. Upgraded on its side with ammunition does exploding ricochet shots. Upgraded two-handed with flame then does homing flaming shots. And all of the weapons do this. And it's, as I constantly bang on about, this game is all about, oh, and just one more thing that you can do, and just one more thing, and just one more thing, and it just goes on and on and on and never fucking stops. You want to play this game in a specific stupid manner, you are most likely catered for with a combination of things. I mean, I'll demonstrate some of those combos later on. But yeah, poison's looking... Not only is poison very powerful, but look what I'm doing. Cast, drop, cast, drop, cast, drop. That's one of the things that makes blood magic quite as powerful, is the cast, drop, because these blood ghosts will literally home in on shit and kill it. Kill it dead. Yeah, it's probably one of there's two things other than the launch problems. There's two things that I think are well, maybe three. It is a very difficult game. Early doors when you're not powerful. This I don't think is even fucking known about, that you can flip upside down, because they didn't put it on by default. It's the same as Sairento. They didn't put the ability to wall run, wall flip, and just normally flip on by default. They turned it off. So that is, you know, not known about. And then the sheer amount of stuff that's going on here is probably a problem for most people. We can use enemy weaponry as well. I think I might be able to. Can I infuse that? No, you can't infuse an enemy one, but you can cast all of the big enemy weaponry. There's a scythe, there is a, well, it's a katana to them, but an adachi to us. There's a butcher's hook, and then there's, I can't quite see one. I did kill one there. That guy that was all raptured, he has, like, they're kind of like cleavers. Not a proper big butcher's cleaver. That you can use as well. Ooh, chest. This is what I use. I try and keep, when I'm low on golds, I try and keep my golds for those things. Sairento's an amazing game. Sairento and Super Hot were my first two games. Super Hot was the reason why I got into VR, the reason why I got PSVR, and then Sairento was like, you're fucking in and you are staying now. That gripped me, that one. So, like, you know, that was everything as a kid. Like, imagine one day in virtual reality I'd be able to, like, do all of this FPS stuff, but I could, like, slow down time and flip and wall run, and it's like, oh, here's Sairento. Yeah, not quite the slide that we were after. It's like, it's one of the things that I don't use on this enough. Again, I don't really need to with the magic, but if you, say, for instance, had your weapons out, if you jump and then slightly squat on the floor, providing you've enabled that option, you can then slide. So you could jump, flip, squat slightly in the air, bam, 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 and then as you land, you... Oh, maybe I wasn't low enough. You can change the... Let me get a little lower and see if it does it. Maybe I have to time it. No, you just have to get a bit lower. And you can change that as well. I thought Action Hero was really good, actually. Didn't quite, for me, have the replayability of something like Super Hot. And I played Super Hot to fucking death as well. But... I think replayability was the problem that I had with Action Hero. Once you completed it and then gone through it again in normal, I think every scene was... Because it was scenes, they were actually quite memorable, whereas with Super Hot, I could go through the game. I used to love playing the endless modes on Super Hot. Let's stop sliding, shall we? Mystery objectives, eh? Well, let's upgrade our primal magic a little bit. And yeah, all of the normal weapons plus all of the enemy weapons can all be infused with these various magics. Might be able to do a little bit of that for you now, but I'll have to assign it. So let's say, for instance, we went on to our unholy magic. Do I need... No, I think I need an ability, or is it just unholy magic being on is enough? I think just unholy magic being on is enough. Yeah, it is. So let's equip the Nadachi, and I'll put those back on in a minute. And the Butcher's Cleaver. That was the other one. That one's the Fury Blade, as they've called it. It's probably the weaker of the enemy weapons, because it just hasn't got the reach to it. Whereas the Butcher's knife. This is a knife. So this is the enemy of this is the weapon of gluttony, the Nurgly Princey Warhammer 40k demon, and so we get this lovely Butcher's Cleaver, which also, if you hold trigger, does like a slam attack. You can hear it powered there. But if you were to summon that once you have, say, fire magic infused to your hand, well, then you would get the molten version of it. And I think that might... no, this one doesn't fire anything. Bingo! Yeah. I do suck with the melee in this game. Again, part of the problem that we have now is with this energy system you can't go into slow motion. You can do some incredibly cool things in the melee in this game with slow motion, but without the ability to increase our slow motion bar now, because it used to be tied to mana, kind of lost that. You can't just like slow motion. You don't go in slow motion either when you put the game into slow time. So that's the game in slow time, and I can move as fast as I want to, weaponry wise anyway, not actual move. My movement moves slows to a crawl, but my blade work wouldn't. So the other one that we get is, well, as I said, for Pride, which is the enemy that carries this is a katana to him, and he will use it one-handed. To us, it's an odachi or a nodachi. It's basically a war katana, and yeah, cool as fuck. It's the one thing, if I had a problem with this game, is that the other thing I suppose I have a problem with the game is the melee is quite difficult to engage with in this game, and then because the gunplay and the magic is so fucking good, it kind of gets left to its own devices. That's not to say that you can't play this game completely melee, but I find that a lot of the weapons you're a lot of the time just out of range of to use them effectively. Although this one is actually quite good. He says as he misses it. It would be easier to do it on an agility build. Oh, wall run. That's my energy clapping out. Ah. And then, of course, I mean, these are just well, luggy not soon. These are just static things as well. And then, of course, so as I've shown off, you've got gunplay, you've got melee, you've got magic, and it can all be done upside down in slow motion as well. That's where I find that these weapons really come into their own, because they've got the length for you to actually, when you flip over enemies, to actually fucking reach them, whereas a lot of the standard weapons don't. So, and then of course, if I was to lightning and then summon my Nadachi, we then get a lovely fucking Demon Slayer-esque Nadachi instead, that's then imbued with lightning abilities and can fire shot as well. Fire slices. And then if you so desired, you could have a poison one as well. And then the graphics for that change also. Is the poison Nadachi hurting us? Let's see if we can get two. Because I think I've... Yeah, it is. Look at that. So, because I've got one in each hand, these are actually hurting us. And I think they'll continue to hurt us. So, a lot of weapons... The one quite cool thing about these weapons... Ooh, drop them. Almost died there. So, the cool thing about the enemy weapons is that once they're imbued, they stay that way. Like, if we imbue ourselves and then summon... Oh, I've turned it off, haven't I? And then... Turn it back on. Let's go back to normal. That one there. That one there. If we imbue our hand and then take our gun, you'll see that our gun gets infused with blood magic, which will now have a vampiric effect on enemies. And when loaded with the upgraded bullets from my shoulder, then summons blood ghosts as well. Ridiculously powerful, but note how that wears off eventually. You can do things within your magic to increase your infusion times. As I've said, the long and short of it, and it's something that I'd love to do in this game, is like, you know, if somebody in the comments was to say like, oh, could you play the game as a bleh? I'm pretty sure I'd be able to play the game as whatever you wanted me to. And you could make it effective, providing you build into it. Nobody, like, say, oh, could you play the game as a clown? Fuck off. Already am a clown. We'll have some frost magic. We've skipped that because it isn't part of our loadout. If you're not using a particular thing and you've skipped it so that it's almost like in your backpack so you could equip it, this is where you would then, let's re-roll that, this is where you would go for the experiences gold trait if you are planning on getting souls, this one here. And then providing you can make it to the end boss, you exchange all of those experiences golds in for reward. These magics, that one, as you can see, is a combination, hopefully, of ice and lightning. That is cool. It's given, each of the magic combinations, when you combine things, is given a name. Because I haven't even shown you the half of it yet. I've just been showing off what poison does with everything else. Because, you know, poison, as we've seen, combines with everything. But everything else combines with everything to give us even more nasty and new effects. Should really kill that thing. But that's a different video. The amount that there is to do in this game. And, you know, if you find something that's on brand and on theme for the way that you like to play. Like, for instance, Vaughn likes using, I can't remember what it's called now. Is it rail magic or... ice and lightning, and that basically gives her the ability to fly around healing everybody if she wants to, you know, and then it's got its own offensive things as well. Normally I would scour this place top to bottom to try and get a load of upgrades and stuff, but we're just going to go and complete the boss and then say that again. It's stated after Act 25. Act 25. Where did it... Oh, no. That's not... hang on. Let me see if I can show you. Remind me of that again, and I'll show you in the bit between us playing some multiplayer and me finishing this off. So, we have a shop. Now, I would normally say, especially if you have a gilded boots build, I have 281 shields. That is mainly down to the huge amount of cash I own and gilded boots. We are pretty much invincible with over 300 shields at most difficulty levels. And then... that just adds more on with the, well, at the moment, benefit of reducing our damage. I say benefit because of the whole style thing. it is worth trying to pick up keys with your cash here. But you can see that those rerolls are getting awful expensive. We can buy little health increases, but each time we're spending gold, we're taking away from our shields. But we can get away with a certain amount. The one thing to note in this game, if you are going to do a Gilded Boots run, and you can get Gilded Boots as a thing that you can equip quite early on in the game, is be aware that the more cash you spend, the less shield you'll have to go and do the boss, represented by the purple portal as opposed to red or yellow for a shop. And on top of that as well, once you complete a boss, you actually lose half of your gold, souls, and echoes, and they're then given to you back onto your meta progression, but you lose them within your run. So you are at your most weakest if you are relying on Gilded Boots to give you shields when you start a new act, because you've just had loads of cash and stuff stripped away. There is a way to do this boss. That is a different stream. Should. It's only on extreme. Should be enough. Savagery is one of the hardest bosses. Yeah, we got more than enough shields. Savagery is a nasty ass boss. Probably the toughest going in regard to the fact that he can absolutely destroy you. It's knocking the shit out of me. He can absolutely destroy you in one hit. In fact, he's doing a pretty good number on us here. The way that I am dealing with him right now is not the way that you deal with savagery. Doing it this way will get you killed. Where are my guns? Need some more of these. Because our blood magic doesn't stay out very long. And there you go, he's dead. The way that you are supposed to deal with him is you attack him when he's in his first form to knock off all of his armor. Once his armor is gone, you then need to run away from him until he's exhausted, then you attack him. Any other time, he does like fucking Goku Dragon Ball Z style instant translocations and twats you in the face. So that's good. He's the second end boss. He is another reason why I think this game isn't played a lot, because people will get to him and die to him every single fucking time, because he's a very tough boss, even when you know how to do him. But now you know. Gain 15 shields, decrease maximum number of jumps by 1. No, thank you. Yeah, that's the other way to do him, is you can actually use the stone hands to block him. All other weapons are not invincible when it comes to blocking. They have a durability and they will break, but the stone fists don't. So doing kind of like a boxer's guard or an X guard with the stone fists really, really helps. We will rest at Hall. I'll go over a little bit more poison. We'll call scene on the first part of the stream. And then we'll go from there. And we'll go and see if we can do something with the multiplayer. Oh. Ooh, I thought it crashed then. Right, how's the battery looking? It is not on death's door, hopefully. No, it's above 15%, which means that it isn't dying on its arse. Right, bear with. God, I barely used any battery because it hasn't been on. So, what haven't we covered? We've covered a decent amount about poison. I think I haven't used it a massive amount just because it's a bit alien to me. Although this, I would say, is as good as having... Poison is... This is a great magic if you're in that middle part of the game where you haven't got blood magic yet. Can you still pull these apart? Yes, you can. That's another way to do your big casts as well. You don't need to, and the technical term is smush, you don't need to have 2 balls and smush them to do ultimates. You can have 1 ball, grip it, and then pull it apart to do an ultimate. Can you... hang on. Pull... and then you can still fire. That's not your... when you smush 2 together, this is not your ultimate. That's kind of like your area of effect. It's when you point and double press both triggers. That is where your ultimate is. So, yeah, so we've covered the energy system. Poison, I rate. I'd say poison is up there with... lightning's great for style because you can get a lot of hits and it's quite weaker magic when you have it at its base level. Fire's just good. Those... I haven't got them on. Smushing's easier. Oh, I will show you the advanced magic-y technique as well. I'd put poison on par with fire, and that it makes poison good because fire is very, very good. The flamethrower is very mana intensive. Throwing fireballs is a little bit meh. Some of the other abilities that you get with fire are good. Fire's strength comes from that spirit bomb kind of attack that you can fire. You can use that to complete the entire game. In normal, probably all the way up to extreme, and it's nice and easy to cast. You just do, and then smush, and then blast. So I'd put poison up with fire for, you know, how deep and how early you get it, and how deep you'd be able to get into the game with it. The beauty of poison, though, is its ease of use. None of this combined in, none of this dicking around. Just drop them on the floor. And they'll kill everything for you. And that's all you need to do. Look, see? The blacksmith knows all about it. They haven't got a bad range either. The area thing is alright if you like snake tails and stuff and leading your enemies into those. The ultimate is alright. It's kind of the same as Ice's ultimate, but with spikes instead of icicles. So that isn't great. But where poison really comes into its own is just dropping it on the floor, and then combined with some of the other magics, that is great. This little whirligig one. Oh, I didn't realize you could change the direction of those as well. He loves it. And then that is very good because you can sit inside that and it will defend you. Puts the enemy, it damages the enemies, puts them into rapture, which means they're not attacking you, or it looks like rapture. And then we go from there. I suppose the only one that we didn't use a lot of tonight was the... we didn't use the perfume magic. And perfume magic... again, if you like your Dragon Ball Z style-y side of things, and you can get over the fact that it's pink, you've got your, you know, rapid fire energy blast in perfume magic, just with ice and poison, and then the rest of the time we're able to float around like a boat. Well, a boat in the sky, anyway. And again, the other ability that I don't use that often, but is quite good, is that all of these abilities, when you have the orbs combined, if you pull apart, you do like a massive area effect as well. But the strength in all magic, a lot of the time, or the best magic, is all in that combined flick and then pull both triggers. Yeah, well, hopefully it all looks nice. No, there is nothing wrong with pink. No, I like the cherry blossom thing. Would I be caught dead using it? No, but you lot can use it. Yeah, so it's but I'm a fan of that, and it doesn't drain mana as bad as it could. So there you go. Yeah, but it's not the sort of thing that you'd expect when you're, like, you know, blasting your enemies. Yeah, it's just pulling your hands apart to that kind of taffy pull on the attacks. So yeah, I think that's everything covered. You can tell that I haven't covered this game up for a while either, because I didn't even do my classic intro. And on that bombshell, we shall indeed end it there. This has been the fantastic Hellsweeper running natively on the Quest 3. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.